Hi everyone, I'm Megan Zimba, editor of WDDD, and we're here with Joe Zeto from Ixia, and he's going to talk about the company and share some of their upcoming exclusive news with us. Hi Joe, how are you?
Great. How are you?
Good. Well, it's nice to have you. Thank you for the opportunity. We appreciate it. Our first question is can you provide a brief background and history of Ixia and what some of its major goals are as a company in regards to the wireless industry?
Yeah, absolutely. So Ixia has been around for more than 14 years, publicly traded company. So in a nutshell, we help accelerate and secure application delivery. And we do that by kind of providing insight and predictability and resiliency of networks. And so we test all the way from the lab. People like Cisco and Juniper, Ericsson in the mobile space use our gear in the lab to test their individual products, to also do system level testing. Then we also do assessment testing on operational networks. So we're making measurements on real live networks, such as enterprise networks. And then we also help to optimize the network. So we help collect data, statistics off of networks, so the decisions can be made about their efficiency of policy rules, whether bigger, fatter pipes should be applied to certain areas of the network. And we've been pretty involved with Wi-Fi for the last couple of years. We made an acquisition about 3 years of a company called VeraWave, but really all the leading guys like Aruba and Cisco and Ruckus are using us in the lab to really put their controllers and access points through the paces. So that's brief background.
Okay, and then what are the major challenges in regards to network architecture design, and what are some of the solution Ixia provides to its customers to overcome these challenges?
There's a lot of big challenges with Wi-Fi, and it's multi-dimensional. You could talk enterprise related or carrier related. So just Wi-Fi, more and more devices are coming. Bring your own device. So IT is a little unpredictable for IT. New classes of devices with not even wired networks on them, such as all the tablets and smartphones that are coming. So a lot more business critical applications and enterprises are running over devices that don't have wired connections, that are wireless only. And so the expectations of from a nice to have convenience, but if it didn't work, you could always go back to the wired network. Those barriers are being removed. So the expectation level of mission critical business applications running over Wi-Fi are ramped way up. And then if you look at the service provider market, you see the same thing with just the capacity crunch of the cellular networks, the macro networks, that more and more traffic is going to be offloaded off of 3G and even LTE networks onto Wi-Fi networks, meaning that and operators and the consumer won't know necessarily that I've been switched. That's the ultimate goal of the mobile operator. They want it to be somewhat transparent. So the smartphone user, the premium user, that makes a lot of money for the operators, they get the benefit by offloading the traffic, the operator does, but they put this premium subscriber at risk if the performance, once the service is switched from the cellular network to Wi-Fi network, isn't as great. So again, the demand for very high performance on Wi-Fi networks is just kind of going up and up. And then the last thing I'll say on that, it's in the healthcare industry, it's more than just mission critical applications, business applications. It's life critical applications. You walk into a hospital, everything's wireless now, and all patient care, any monitoring device or healthcare device that you could put a wireless interface on is they're using Wi-Fi. It's kind of astounding. So now when we go into the hospital, our critical care data is going over Wi-Fi networks.
Can you discuss some of the prominent security issues associated with wireless networks and how Ixia helps protects against those issues?
Yeah, absolutely. So just security, it's been an issue for many, many years, since the digital age, but and more things are coming to market to help prevent security issues, access to confidential data, viruses, malware, etc. But it just seems like the hackers are always just one step ahead of the community that's kind of fighting these things off, whether they be enterprises or government. I mean, just look at the latest news. The attack on Spam House of denial of service in the last week or so. So we allow both operators, service providers, governments, and large enterprises to basically evaluate security risk in the lab before they deploy. So as part of their design of their architecture, what vendors they're choosing, who has the best firewall system, who is the most risk mitigation, can I stop denial of services? So we allow in the lab for large enterprises, government. We have many governments around the world, and certainly operators around the world. So they're using our product to essentially simulate all these attacks, denial of service attacks at super high scale, but also mobile malware and viruses and stuff, and to see if their threat detection systems, how they really perform. And so some companies are doing it and taking it very serious, and others aren't taking it as serious. And we believe the ones that are the enterprises, the governments that are really evaluating security, they're going to be far ahead because it's a big challenge for the global community.
What are some of the trends you are seeing within the industry, and how do you think these trends will shape the future for the various wireless networks available?
Absolutely. So I touched upon some of them. I mean, we're kind of in an age where we're moving from hospitality grade Wi-Fi, where it's a nice to have convenience, to where it's just expected. The devices are coming even with wired networks, and the performance and user expectations over wireless are increased. We're also seeing new class of wireless by vendors coming to the market. So you see people positioning essentially high quality operator or enterprise grade Wi-Fi. So that means that they perform better, they have higher throughput. They also have the ability to support quality of service, meaning that there's many different types of traffic on a network. So you have real-time traffic, such as we're kind of doing now, or conversational video stream. You have conversational voice. You have just basic data applications. You have file sharing. So there's many different types of applications on a network, and the network's ability to prioritize and give the right quality of service to that traffic, ultimately it allows the enterprise IT person or the cellular, the network engineering groups and carrier networks to basically match up the expected quality of experience to the application. Meaning, if user can maybe tolerate some delay in surfing the web, but if their business critical application, they want it to perform very high. You want very good video quality, very good voice quality. So those are some of the challenges. You see networks becoming a lot more intelligent, and some vendors are way ahead of other vendors because they're testing these things better in the lab. They're coming out with new product innovations. So that's one big area. And then you see into the handset. The actual device itself plays a bigger and bigger role in how it plays into the network. So meaning the performance of the Wi-Fi on the device itself. And so I'm talking about the tablet, the medical device, the smartphone. And we know for a fact, I can give you a little nugget. We know two of the leading tablet manufacturers in the world that are making have new products for tablets. We've seen in the lab how one performs much better than another, and especially in a case of like a range test of how far away you are from an access point. And once you get so many meters from an access point, one device still has pretty good performance, not as good as it was right next to the access point, but pretty good. And the other leading device, it really has almost unusable performance at a certain distance from the access point. So there's a lot of competition. Wi-Fi is a very complex technology. There's more of it used, there's more expectations out of it, more interference. So from the network to the network design to the actual devices that are selected and used on the network, it all plays a role in ultimately what's the customer's experience on the network and whether it's a good one or a bad one.
In regards to the competition that you mentioned, what is Ixia doing to be one of the top players when it comes to Wi-Fi, especially within the medical industry?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, without a doubt, we believe that we're way ahead of anybody else in the world doing this stuff. There's really, if you look at it, what the level of testing's kind of done now is using the Wi-Fi Alliance, and you get Wi-Fi Alliance certification, and that's been around for a long time, and that got us to where we are in the industry, and it's been very good. And what Wi-Fi Alliance testing is essentially basic interoperability testing between a device and an access point, and it says, hey, these devices they work together. But that's where it stops. It does not look at true performance, true throughput, true voice quality, true video quality, what's performance in range, what's performance as you roam around a network, how do you perform when there's interference, how do you perform when there's a lot of loaded network and there's a lot of other devices on the network. So alternatively, people are just in the essence of not having commercial solution until Ixia introduced one in the market. They've either relied on Wi-Fi Alliance interoperability testing, and that's all they did, and kind of taking a gamble with how their performance is actually going to be for a real network and how their devices can perform in the real world, or they're building kind of very expensive test systems in their own labs and just doing the best they can, and we see that across the board. So really, we're definitely at the forefront of bringing a commercial grade test product for both the network, the access points, and the client devices that we think will advance the network and advance the quality of networks greatly.
Okay. Well, is there anything else that you would like to comment or add, especially concerning Ixia and their role in the industry? Something that you think that is important for our viewers to know about your company and what you're doing for the wireless industry?
Not really. I think we touched on a lot of things. I mean, but we have very big investments, and it's definitely our goal from the lab to the network to the deployments to make higher quality experience for users, consumers, ultimately by working with the manufacturers of both the devices and the networking gear. So it's a fast moving time, and we're very, very excited to be playing in this space.
Okay, well, thank you, Joe, for the time. We appreciate the opportunity, and we look forward to hearing more from you and Ixia.